And he went from an elected Clark County public official to a murder defendant.
And now Robert Tellis' fate is in the hands of a jury. They'll decide if Tellis killed Las Vegas Review journalist Jeff Gehrman back in September of 22, motivated by anger over Gehrman's reporting on him.
And after 2 weeks of riveting testimony in the case, the prosecution and the defense laid out their final arguments today before the jury.
The evidence is absolutely clear. The defendant murdered Jeff Gehrman. He murdered him because Jeff's writing destroyed his career. It destroyed his reputation. It threatened probably his marriage.
Look at this image. Look at the profile. His hair. We have two captures from two different angles. The profile does not match the profile of Mr. Tellis.
And Fox 5's Victoria Saha has been covering this high-profile trial since day one. She joins us now live from the newsroom with more on today's closing arguments. Victoria?
Yeah, John and Kim, throughout this trial, we saw images of that red Yukon Denali. That picture that Tellis' defense just put up there shows a much different profile in the driver's seat than Tellis. And it looks like this driver had hair, which we know Tellis does not have. And this was new video that was shown in court. But again, there are other surveillance video from Gehrman's neighborhood that shows the suspect in a straw hat and approaching Gehrman's home. It's something we've seen since police were looking for the suspect nearly 2 years ago. And last week, we also heard from Tellis himself trying to convince the jury on why he is innocent and what he thinks of all the evidence against him. Here's a little bit of his testimony.
I went to the gym, like I said, at about 12 and got checked in about 12:09. Did my workout, went home, picked up kids later, and I can't imagine the kind of person that would. I am not the kind of person who would stab someone.
And throughout his testimony, we heard a lot of objections. This is because we heard Tellis many times starting or ending a sentence with "I believe," and the judge kept telling him his opinions do not matter here. He took the chance and went on the stand, and he was only supposed to speak about observations and evidence. Throughout his testimony, he kept saying how he did not do this. In fact, he started off right away with that. He said whoever stabbed Gehrman to death was a professional assassin, but now it's up to the jury to decide whether or not they believe him.
And Victoria, I think a lot of people watching the live coverage of Tellis' testimony were surprised that he talked for hours, and yet his defense attorney never really led him by asking questions, typically what you would see in a trial like this. What was going on there?
So this is what they call testimony by narrative. And ever since Tellis took the trial, I've been trying to talk to my sources who are familiar with this kind of a case. And they said that Draskevich, his defense attorney, stepped back. He didn't try to talk or ask questions because usually in a case like this, the defense attorneys advise against testifying. But Tellis, from day one, he said he wanted to talk in court during this trial, tell his side of the story. We heard it. And so Draskevich just stepped back and let him do his own thing.
We're just learning from Cody Lee, our reporter there, that the jury has a question, so everyone's being brought back into the courtroom, and perhaps we'll have more on that coming up in later editions of Fox 5 News. Victoria, thank you.
And Fox 5 is swallowing all of the developments out of the jury deliberations today, and we will continue to bring you the latest details as we do get them. You can watch our full coverage on fox5vegas.com and our free Fox 5 News app.